Hey all, this is Martin from How to Make Mobile Games on YouTube. I hope everyone's having a great weekend there. Over the past day or so, I've just been playing some games and I came across one which is just soared through the iTunes App Store rankings, and probably a lot of you have heard of this now. But the Gangnam Style Massacre application or game, which is the one I'm showing you here on the screen now. Um, it's now position number 3 in the US App Store. I'm just going to go over to the uh, appannie.com so I can show the rankings here. This blue one is probably the most important line because this shows the overall ranking throughout the US App Store. And the US App Store is the biggest one, so that's why we usually use that as a reference. But it's risen to number 3 there, number 5, number 6, and it's gone down to 11 today. But the reason I wanted to quickly do a video on this one is because it kind of stood out to me as like an amazing example of how such a small game can just launch through the charts, and is probably making the developer quite a bit of money at the moment. So it kind of, I think it struck my interest because there are developers, who make sort of huge games, of course, and they sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't do so well. And then there's developers who might take a few days on something and it does extremely well, or maybe a week or something like this. They're kind of more hit or miss titles, and maybe it's not a stable model, but it works sometimes, especially in this example here. So I did a little bit of checking on the from iTunes, going to the developer's website as well, and it looks like it's just one single person. The app is actually registered on the developer. Sorry, the name is just Carolina Patron, and I went to the developer site and it just says, "I'm a small indie developer producing games for iPhone and iPad." That sounds really, really, really small. So, which is cool, and in a way, because it's amazing that just an individual developer can get this far up the App Store rankings. So I played the game as well. So the points that I wanted to mention is I wanted to do this video from sort of like a gameplay perspective, but also from a business perspective, and also monetization, because we can learn something from this for sure. So why has it risen so high so fast? The big one is obviously the name. That's the main thing. Search engine optimization or app store optimization now is becoming crucial, and figuring out keywords and figuring out what might be the hot topic to search for. So I believe it's kind of obvious from this example that people are typing in the word Gangnam Style, and then the name of the title as well, the name of the game, Massacre, after it sounds interesting. In the game there isn't actually a massacre going on, but it does sound very, very interesting. So that's the main thing. Now, from a legal standpoint, would I risk it on the iPhone, on the iTunes App Store? No, I don't think I would. The reason being is that if you only have a single account on the iPhone App Store and you do something like that, if you don't own the IP rights or you don't own the trademark or whatever it may be, you could get in trouble and the game could get pulled down, or it's possible that your developer account would get cancelled, which would be the end of, which would be game over for a lot of businesses. So be very careful with if you're thinking of doing something similar like this. But anyhow, it's possible to do that on maybe other app stores or smaller app stores, maybe not on Google Play, but smaller ones where you don't worry too much and you want to test the water a little bit. That's possible, and that's what I'd recommend if you do want to take this approach to developing games. Overall, the game is really simple. It's super simple to play. It's just holding the arrow back, and then it launches across, and you've got to shoot the pot off the top of this Gangnam, whoever it is, this guy. Shoot it off the top of his head. And then it zooms out, and then you try it again and you get further. And so it's very similar to paper toss. Same sort of rules. If you kill him, it's game over. In paper toss, if you missed, you go back to 0. And that gameplay, because it's accessible to anybody, it's very, very addictive, and people just come back to it over and over and over. So gameplay is another reason why it's probably doing quite well, and why people are probably coming back to it again. Overall, the artwork is really good. It's not really good in terms of being very cool or amazing artwork or unique in style, but it's bright, it's colourful, it's simple, and I think it stands out quite well. Especially the icon. The icon is good, I think, and that's probably the most important piece of artwork in a game, in my opinion, because especially for mobile games. The reason being is that it's the first one that people see. Then they'll look at the name and then tap on it and then look for more, the screenshots and so on. But to get that initial attention and to get that initial grasp of the user looking at the game and maybe downloading, the icon is the most important thing. But then after that, the game obviously has to stand on its own 2 feet. So I think, yeah, obviously we mentioned the name stands out. So if you're doing any research for games, if you are a developer who's highly focused on SEO and what might be, or thinking about being a more focused on SEO development, search engine optimization, or app store optimization, have a think about what is being highly searched for at the moment. Now that can be figured out through things like Google Trends. What are people looking at online? If you're not using somebody's name in the application, then you should be okay legally. But I would do some research on that, and I can't give any expert legal advice. So please look into that if you're considering using some kind of thing that might be trademarked or might have the IP might be with somebody else. The other thing is with this game is they've done a really good use of ads. When I say they, I mean she has done a very good use of ads. Who knows, there might be some other people. I mean, our iTunes account is actually listed as Martin Finch, and our website is really, really just basic at the moment, but there are other people. So who knows, it could be a few people involved. But they have a really, really good use of ads. They basically, after every game over, there's what's called an interstitial ad, or a sort of full screen, almost full screen pop-up after every single game over. And those ads are quite colourful, they're quite bright, they do grab a lot of attention, and they're also game related as well. So they're ads to, like Clash of the Clans or something like this. Very, very colourful, very successful games. So people are far more likely to have a game over state in Gangnam Style Massacre, and then click on those and then go to the next game. They also have the ads at the bottom there as well, which do grab attention throughout the game. So they've got a very good use of ads, and I would recommend that one as well, is having the banner ads, but after every, say, game over, having those interstitial ads pop up. I believe companies such as, iAd Network, I believe, do it. AdMob does that as well. I believe also in Mobi.com, they also do like full screen ads, and I think most of the ad networks do them now. So I think take a look at it, because the interstitial or full page ads, they generate more revenue per click from what I know. I've not actually checked this out myself, but they make more revenue per click than, say, just the banner ads. So, and the other thing is as well in this game, leaderboards are included. So, if you go to the main menu, you tap on leaderboards, you can see the world ranking, which is always good to include. Always have some kind of leaderboard or competitive edge inside of the game. And I'm going to do a separate video on that as well in this coming week, once we include some more leaderboards in our Android applications. So, but, I just wanted to make a little video about this because I think it's something that we can kind of learn from. Especially in the sort of environment where we're so competitive in the iPhone App Store and Google Play and Android and the games in general, standing out from the crowd and looking at engine optimization and searches is extremely important. It's becoming more and more important now. We've had the situation where we've had games and we've built games and we've spent a few weeks building it, and then no one's downloaded it, or very few people have downloaded it. And the reason being is simply because one is not enough marketing, and two is not because we didn't focus heavily enough on search engine optimization and figuring out what keywords would work in the title and so on. But I just wanted to do perhaps a little estimate here as well. So maybe something interesting to play around with. And this is just a guess on the amount of revenue the game might be making based on this. I've not done any research right now how many downloads a top game gets each day. I researched numbers half a year ago or something like that. Within the first few days, it can reach millions. I believe Office Jerk within 8 days was downloaded 6 million times in the US App Store. So let's say if a game was up online for say 8 days and it was downloaded 6 million times, let's just say, for example, I'm just trying to roughly figure out in my head how many that would be. Let's say if a game was downloaded roughly at that position, to be a little bit more modest, let's say 300,000 times. So in a single day, we've got 300,000 daily active users. And I'm just trying to do a rough estimate here. I've not actually calculated this out before. Maybe I should have written this down before I did the video. But let's say 300,000 users. Out of 300,000 users playing that game in, say, 1 day, let's say the click-through rate on an ad, that's the actual tap on an ad, on an iPhone or an iPad, is, let's just say it's a modest 1%. Okay, that's roughly, it can usually be high, so we're going for a modest value there. So 1% of 300,000, what's that? That's 30,000, that's 3,000 clicks. And then if we say per click, let's say we're getting an average click-through of, say, I don't know, an average a cost per click that comes to the actual developer. Let's just say it's around, I don't know, say 6 cents, 0.06 cents. So currently maybe that game is making $180 each day. And I don't know if my math is actually correct there. I could be way, way, way off. You know, it's probably making a lot more actually, probably getting, say, a 2% click-through rate. I'll just quickly calculate that one as well. So let's say it had, this is for 1 day, 300,000 users. It got downloaded, sorry, it's been played 300,000 times, or 300,000 users in that day. Let's say it has a 2% click-through rate, which would be 30,000, 3,000, 6,000 clicks. 6,000 clicks, and let's say that the clicks would be, let's say, 10 cents per click, so times 0.1. So that would be making $600 every day. If it had an in-app purchase of $1 with a 1% click-through rate, with a 1% purchase rate, that would be even higher. So you can see that the game's doing pretty well based on those modest numbers, and that's a really rough estimate. Sorry, I can't be like more clear with what I'm actually typing down there. But you know, I think it's a good it's a good, interesting game, and I think, you know, congratulations to Carolina. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. Carolina for making it and the success that it's had so far. And I hope everyone has some good ideas. You know, if you do have some conversation topics that you'd like to talk about, please drop a comment down below. As I always mentioned, I do read every single comment. I don't always reply to them just because of time restraints. But you know, thank you for everybody who's downloaded our games. Please download and rate them. That really, really, really supports us. So a great big thank you to everyone for doing that. And I'm going to catch you all in the next video. And have a great weekend, everyone. And happy developing. Bye bye.